Hello and welcome to the Nerd Word. My name is Steve.
I am Jeremy.
I am David.
And I'm JM.
And today we're just chatting. How's it going, guys?
I'm doing pretty good, Steve. How you doing, David?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm opened up Mad Max again, and I'm playing that game. It's one of my favorites. How about you, JM?
God, falling off the wagon.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I loved Mad Max. That was one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
It's really good for a sandbox, I think, and it's
100%.
really sandy box because it's like it's all desert and it's really desert.
Oh, Australia desert.
Yeah.
Don't you just hate it when your box gets a little too sandy, though?
Oh, all the
God,
time.
all the time. Yeah, it's coarse, it's rough, it's irritating.
It gets
It gets
everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah.
And you end up slaughtering women and children, too.
Children. All of them. I killed them all. The sand, that is.
This is just
Anyways,
gonna go into prequel memes for like an hour, isn't it?
They
That's
always
who
do.
we are. We are
Yeah.
nerds. We are memers.
Yeah.
Yes. So we are just going to be chatting today about video games, how things are going with the channel today. Just doing something that that gives you guys a little bit of a catch me up that isn't a stream or a edited video, which I'll admit I haven't been very good on. So we're editing this. Anyways, we're going to be talking about games today. David, you actually started with a really good introduction to something I wanted to talk about. So let's jump right into it. I wanted to talk about games that we haven't played in a long time, maybe more classic games that we really wanted to get back to, just to get the ball rolling. As I've been saying before, I've been getting back into Dead Space. I'm still playing it. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it was that I can't help but watch the game and know, like, this could look better. So, David, did you want to actually start by talking a bit more about your experience with Mad Max?
Mad Max is still gorgeous. Like, the character models are a bit, like, little gruff. But the car driving and the actual environment has really just kept it going.
It had, like,
Pretty good.
yeah, it had like I mean, I would describe it as like it was revolutionary car driving experience for the time, not to mention the customization that you could go through.
Yeah. Like, the cars you get, the different bodies, they're different heavy, and they react differently to the sand.
Yeah.
If you have a light one, you're gonna hop around.
Did you ever actually end up finishing the game?
I did.
Yeah?
That was like one of the few games I've actually finished.
And you know that's a high point. That's a high
That
point
is
for any
for me.
game. Is
Half the games I get like and I just don't care anymore.
Yeah,
But that one,
especially with sandbox and open world stuff, because it all gets
Yeah.
kind of samey pretty quickly, usually. So it's
Definitely
nice
does.
when something does hold up over time and it's interesting enough to make you want to finish it.
Yeah. Well, the Mad Max world is like really cool. I like it.
Yeah, the game, honestly, like the car stuff that you were talking about, it reminds me a lot of like old school Twisted Metal, but
Yeah.
like in its own little sort of open world thing.
Yeah,
JM,
the
did you
cars
ever-
are like just rusted out pieces of garbage.
Jim, did
Yeah,
you ever get a
exactly.
chance to play Mad Max?
No, I have never. I'm looking at some screenshots of it though, and it does look quite nice actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm playing it on the Xbox too, so the graphics aren't like as good as they could be.
Yeah, on the PC, I would imagine with like modern ray tracing and stuff like that,
Yeah, that game would
that would do a lot
amazing.
for it.
No,
Like, it already looks good, right? So add better
I had
graphics.
that. Yeah, I had that game installed. Like, I wasn't playing it, but I had it installed forever until I finally had to delete it for space because it is a chonker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of chonkers, I'm still angry at Ark.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Why is it like 120 gigs?
Well,
It has no
big.
business being 120 gigs. It's certainly not the graphics. It's like, why does it take up so much space?
Yeah, if you want my opinion on that, it's 120 gigs because it's actually a really bad game that's been packaged together and just
just keep
reformed and reformed. Yeah, exactly, until it's
Piling
good.
stuff on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Honestly,
there's so much.
that's gotta be it, because it's like the graphical detail is not enough to warrant that sort of thing. the sophistication of the AI certainly isn't either. In the dinosaurs and stuff, as that like platypus bear thing ran around in circles constantly.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's probably they made it as a scam and then realized no, it's actually kind of good. Like it was like one of those, forever in development. No, we'll just make money, and then it's like, no, this is actually kind of good. People are actually liking this.
well, it's still forever in development though, so there's that.
Oh,
at
yeah.
least. They keep adding stuff to it and then adding map packs, and people keep paying for it.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about Arc 2 is coming out soon, later this year?
Wait, what's Arc
Yeah.
2?
It's the
Arc 2
second
is
arc.
going to be a completely new engine because of how old this, Arc has its limits because it's on this really old engine, and it just, it's basically just a taming game. So I'm curious to see what Arc 2 is going to release for us, if it's going to be more of the same, just with a prettier, and more, I don't know, more animals, or maybe more puzzles, more actual depth. Like Steve and I went through a desert like temple, and it looked like it was going to be so cool, but it was just empty. It's just nothing in it. So I wonder what Arc 2 is going to bring us.
A good point to make about that, by the way, is that I did a little bit of research on Ragnarok, because that's the map that we're on, and Ragnarok was another one of those fan-made locations or islands. So in that, obviously, like, they created a whole bunch of stuff as a community, but it wasn't like there's you notice that there's no story bits. I'm going through the island right now with Mouse, and we're finding story bits all over the place. It really enriches what would otherwise be just simply a taming game. So for that, yes, you're absolutely right. It is disappointingly empty. I want more of that though, because when we saw it on the horizon, I was so excited, and it was just so disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of story though, is it like reading? Is it text based, or is it like things you have to?
Yeah, you
puzzle
find these
through, or-
boxes everywhere, usually in ruins. Like if you see ruins off in the distance, like, yes, that's a story thing, and then you hop off your Argentavis, or I've been flying right over top of it. You can pick it up, you read a little thing about people who were there before you, right? Like, oh, there was survivors before, and there's all these different narrators, so you're kind of picking up their story as you go, and it's in no particular order, so you just pick up random stuff, or maybe facts about creatures, which of course now we just use the wiki to look up. So by the time that you find out more about the Carnotaurus, you're like, yeah, that's all right, I've just tamed like 50 of them, so it's cool. But yeah, I think to get back to your point there about Arc 2, is that, I would love to see, I guess the graphics I think are fantastic, but it's just so unoptimized that it's hard to run it on the top settings without burning out your computer, even though you can run better looking games. GTA, Fallen Order, Star Wars Fallen Order, that looks amazing, and I can run that on epic settings. Even Cyberpunk I can run on highest settings without too much
Fallen Order is
hiccups.
another really good game.
Wait, which game?
I said Fallen Order. Like, I beat
Fallen
that one
Order,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, I'm so interested in, or they're making another one, and I want that like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, the first one was so good.
Yes,
The
I
biggest
actually
issue I
heard
have
about
with the
that.
first one is like that it's too short.
Yeah.
If it was like 5 times bigger and longer than that would be like just be an epic game.
Well,
I
little
don't think-
spoiler alert: when you get the witch lady, she's like, by the time you get her, you're like almost done the game.
Yeah, there's no point to that sort of thing.
Yeah, she's
It
like,
really
hi.
feels like it was cut shorter than it should have been, or
Yeah.
than it was originally
Yes.
planned to be, because
Knowing Disney, they
the
probably
story
didn't.
just kind of like doesn't go anywhere. It just stops.
I wanted, before we change the topic though, I wanted to show off this that I've got. It's Cal Kestis!
Jiggly-headed Cal Kestis.
Yeah, I enjoy pop figurines, and like, I mean, in the sense that like I've got Lumiere, I've got Spock, I've got the ones that mean something to me. So I really enjoy
Yeah.
these guys. Once I got my proper setup in the office. I'm gonna have several more of them. Sorry, go ahead there, Jer. What were you talking about?
Okay. Considering we were talking about games, I had a question. What is the game each of you is looking forward to the most that's coming out? Like, it's not out yet, but you're looking forward to it the most.
Can I start that one? Because I know the answer right away. The answer for me is Starfield. It's a space game coming out from Bethesda, which is meant to be like, it kind of feel like Skyrim in space, and there's very little we know about it right now. There is a trailer that has come out, and the best part about the trailer is it looks like a QuickTime cinematic, but in fact it is all in-game footage, and it is absolutely amazing, filled with these little things that if you look really closely, if you read like the titles of the books, they're real books and they're about some philosophy, and it's more along the lines of like what David always talks about really loving when it comes to space games. Yeah, that's you. Is the I'm not the most important person in the universe. I'm just a space trucker. So I'm really excited for that. If you guys haven't seen the trailer for it, I'm going to be putting it across what we're saying right now. But my gosh.
It is a pretty epic looking game, and it's a little frustrating because it is that teaser sort of trailer, because they don't really show you anything that you can get your teeth into, like what kind of game it's going to be. I really hope it doesn't have the like janky person physics that the Fallout and Skyrim games do have, like the Elder Scrolls stuff, where it's all that kind of weird
text and talking and everything.
Yeah, all that kind of, it's outdated stuff now, and like no one really moves organically or things like that. I really feel like that sort of thing.
Have you been to the Sky District? Of course you haven't. It's like, I own it. Where have you been?
Exactly.
The NPCs that stand off to this side and say the same thing all the time. I hear Corellia Station has a festival this time of year. I would really like to go. Okay.
There's these guys I watch, and one of their things was NPC wife. And it was about like an NPC that had an NPC wife. And she's like, oh, I hope the mushrooms are fresh this year. He's like, okay. And she brings back all the mushrooms. He's like, oh, I hope the mushrooms are fresh this year. It's like, well, I got you mushrooms.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I think we were talking about that guy before, and I really need to look up his name right now because he's kind of like he's a bit of a Joel Haver. He's a skit artist, and he did this entire series where he would film it with his friends, and then he would draw over top of a frame and use a program to essentially animate the drawing along. So he made everything look like it was hand drawn, not very good, but still hilarious. And it's like
after you rotoscope thing.
Yeah, after you're done the game, like where is your where's your character at? And he's like, well, I've adventured everything. I have a wife, so that's nice. Do you think there's more cheese? The delivery of cheese has come in. Yes, I've got you every roll of cheese in the land. I wonder if there's more cheese at the market.
There is no more cheese. I've bought it all.
Actually, JM, do you have anything you're looking forward to? You always go for the cool games. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to two different games actually, and they're kind of stepping away from my love of building games like Space Engineers. One of them, which I'm waiting for, nice, dark and grimy, is the Warhammer 40k Darktide.
Yeah.
What's
That's
that
on my
like?
list.
I forgot about that.
That's
it's
Space
being
Hulk,
pushed
but you're
back
not Space
again.
Hulk.
You're more of the Imperium instead of the space. What are they?
Space Marines.
Space Marines. Yes, thanks, David. Yeah.
You're not genetically enhanced gods. You're John over there.
Yeah, a little bit more natural movement that way too. Space Marines, they're so clunky. They look like Lego men almost as they move, but It looks dark and grimy and like a little bit like GTFO in a way, kind of darkness. And I think it just looks sweet, and I can't wait till it comes out. But they see that they pushed it back even further. It was supposed to be this year, but now it's spring 2022. Unfortunately.
Damn you, COVID!
But it's another one of those things that it's nice that they're just not trying to push it out to be in a deadline.
Yeah.
You know what happens when they push out a thing like that.
Hi, Sea of Thieves. How you doing?
Sea of Thieves,
Cyberpunk.
what's it called? Yeah,
Cyberpunk for sure.
No Man's Sky.
Odyssey, Elite Dangerous Odyssey. Definitely tastes like it was put out too early.
Yeah.
And then so the second game I'm looking forward to on the opposite side of the color spectrum is you guys know Tiny Tina from the Borderlands series?
Yeah.
So she's getting her own spin-off, and I don't know if you guys ever played Tiny Tina's Dragon Keep, the DLC.
No.
For Borderlands 2. It was just so beautifully written. You know, I don't know, did you guys ever play too much of the Borderlands series?
I own them. I have not played them.
Okay.
I need at least 4 friends.
I would love for us to rock through the Borderlands games.
Well, Jerry, you and I did a go at Borderlands 3. I mean, the only reason we stopped playing it was it had absolutely no viewership at the streams.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, because no, I totally get it. I'm absolutely in love with the Borderlands series. I've played the first one multiple times, the second one multiple times, 2.5 I've played multiple times, and then I've basically hit the brakes right where we left off in number 3.
Yeah, I haven't been any further than we were playing as well. And I honestly don't remember much about that last hour, because it was at hour 24 of our 24-hour stream. So
That blur.
It's a blur of, oh my god, this is finally over.
I still dream of doing that again.
What was the number we're going
different
for?
people.
Yeah.
Well, I think I said that if we do like 5,000, when we hit 5,000, we'll do another, like maybe even like a 12-hour stream or something, like something a little more manageable.
Yeah,
Although
12 hours is
is
certainly doable. 16 hours is certainly doable. 24 sucks.
Yeah.
All right, David, what are you looking forward to?
Definitely what Jam said, so he stole my thunder. Thanks, Jam.
Oh,
Thanks. But other than that, I mean, Hell Let Loose has finally been released full, so they now have Russian Front, which is pretty cool. And just
I was gonna say, what was that game that you mentioned earlier, before the recording?
Mad Max.
No. It was. Remember, it was that game that
Back 4 Blood.
Yes, that's it. Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood. Yeah, but you need people for that one.
Yes.
Again.
We.
Where are we gonna find people?
People. It's the hardest type of people to find. Nerd people.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like for, I don't know. Yeah, just that Warhammer game. I mean, Starfield looks cool, but I'm holding off hope because Fallout 76 was just a wreck.
It's gonna be so long too. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's just a rule of thumb now, is like, it's okay to look forward to games, just don't start associating qualities to them that they don't have. And I'm definitely like looking up the forums that have Starfield and Starfield news and whatnot, and it's a lot of people kind of going like, do you think that Starfield's gonna have, aliens? Do you think that, it's like, how can we tell? We all have exactly the same information.
Yeah, which
Well,
is
that's
nothing.
That was a
There's
big
a gun.
problem with No Man's Sky too, right?
How do you
Like
mean?
the guy, the leader guy. I mean, it's a beautiful game right off the bat. It was like an explorer game, fun. But the leader guy would just start talking out his butt. And if you remember, Lionhead Studio had the exact same problem. It was the guy would just blab on about what he wanted to make. Like, this is what I want. And then everyone would be like, yeah, we can't do that. Like,
You know what? I remember that problem happening with the original Fable, actually, where they kept, it's going to be multi-generational, and your kids are going to have, like adventures, and you're going to go through time, and you're
going to plant a tree, and that tree will go through changes, and you're like, that's. The developers are like, please stop talking. Please stop.
I remember that tree statement as well, and thinking, wow, this game's going to be awesome.
I love trees.
Duke Nukem Forever grades of promises there.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with, from what I understand, I've never played Duke Nukem, but I've definitely seen a lot of reviews for it. The problem with Duke Nukem that I've heard is that the game was made over so many years that, every time they were working on it, they kept picking up, like, this is what the cool game is now. So, it goes through, like, first-person shooter, and then it goes through, like, horror game, and then it goes through space game, and it's constantly, like, switching between
that's what happens when you don't have a plan.
Well, feature creep.
Like, you need to actually, like, have your idea and stick with it rather than just trying to chase trends, because by the time you actually accomplish that trend, the trends have moved on to different trends.
Yeah, because it turns out it takes a while to make a game.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing with what we're doing as well, that we're that we're streaming games, and you're always kind of asking the question, do I want to do my own thing and risk not getting attention, or do I want to do the latest thing and risk blending in with the crowd and not standing out? It's as game developers, it's the same struggle. What is going to get the most attention? What's that sweet spot?
Well, it's also like by the time you develop it, someone's already made 3 different versions of it as well, right? Like, the East Indian market will be like, hey, we've already made 4 of those in the time that we took to play the game. Because they're like, we can make money and we're gonna do it.
My gosh, fast, cheap, and good. What is that? The three?
Well,
the 3 points on a triangle?
You can pay someone like $5 to program for you, and you're like, okay, and they'll have it done in like a day.
Yeah.
And by done means set the computer on fire.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I once got some work done on Fiverr for another job, and it seems like a great idea. And you do get definitely like people who know what they're doing it, but they do it in the shortest amount of time possible. So you get something that you can tell was done by somebody who knows what they're doing, but also knows all the shortcuts on avoiding doing the real work.
Yeah. Copy paste, go.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Action isn't there.
Yeah. Okay. Who else? I mean, me, David. I guess we've all talked about who's waiting
Everyone but me.
for something. Yeah. Oh, Jared, go for it. What are you looking forward to?
The game I am looking forward to the most is Breath of the Wild 2, honestly, because I absolutely love the first one. That's probably my favorite game. Just for, you can just straight up lose track of time in that game. You look outside, it's 2 in the afternoon. Oh, you look outside, it's 10. Oh, it's 2 again. Oh, Jesus, I should go to bed.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Where has the time gone? Yeah, those are the best games, though.
Yeah. It's gotten the best amount of like flow of an open world game where you can just, you feel like wherever you want to go and whatever you want to do is the right thing to do. And it's so hard to nail and make a good game like that. So
especially after Skyward Sword. I mean, Skyward Sword was, from what I understand, and I did watch somebody play it, it did a little like narrow copy and paste. Like you've got your 4 temples, and you go directly to them, and here's the path that you follow. It felt very compressed.
Yeah, it's the paint by numbers Zelda game. It's like what Disney got themselves into right before they bought Pixar, kind of thing. They had this rigid structure that they refused to deviate from because of reasons.
I know exactly why that happened.
Yeah, there's just
too much is happening right now.
Too much top-heavy micromanaging kind of thing, and less like less desire and vision to put out a specific thing. There's no it needs to do this. It needs to have this many songs.
Yeah.
It needs to be about this. It needs to change to this at this point, and it's just it doesn't
Have
work.
a creative in charge. They had a money guy in charge.
Yeah,
And the money
exactly.
guy goes, "That worked last time, so we're gonna do it again."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then
this
that's
worked in the
actually, I think, how
80s. So
Pixar started. Was a bunch of guys who were like, "This isn't working."
yeah,
Fun fact: I think Pixar was actually started by Steve Jobs.
Well, one of the I think it took a lot of the guys from Disney.
Yeah, yeah. We're
like that.
gonna make something good, and it was the first like good 3D computer generated movies, essentially, with things like Toy Story, which were mind blowing.
yeah, they
There's
were
a-
pretty
there's-
epic. Like, look at what we had for like video games and stuff like that at that point.
Yeah.
Very true. Gosh,
Like that kind of graphical detail was amazing.
I'm gonna flash up on the screen right now. I'm gonna put we're gonna have on the left on the left side we're gonna have Toy Story, the year that it came out, and now I'm going to show a whole bunch of games that came out in or around the same time. So here you go. This is for our viewers to understand. This is when Toy Story came out, which I guess for a lot of them it was before they were born, and then what we were playing at that time.
They're
So I
they're
can't even
good
think about what
games
they are
to
right
be
now.
sure. There's a lot of good games at that point, but their graphical fidelity just isn't there because that's like PlayStation era, original PlayStation, I think.
PlayStation 2 maybe, or no, yeah, I guess it would. I don't know. We'll have to look it up. It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far
In a
away.
galaxy close by.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on because I think we've gotten that topic pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, 1995. So that is 3 or 4 years after the Super Nintendo came out.
Oh, you're making me feel old. Oh my gosh, I didn't even have consoles back then, man.
Like that, I think that is still solidly in the PS1 era because I think PS2 is like 97 or 99 or something like that.
Okay. All right, so
Think about this. Johnny Mnemonic came out in '95, and it was set in 2021.
Mech Warrior 2 came out in 1995. Did you guys ever play that one?
Oh
Yes!
yeah, that still has one of the one of my weirdly favorite songs from a video game in that.
Which one was it?
And
Those polygons.
yeah, all
You can
five
count
of
them.
Oh my god, yeah.
Actually, sorry. Before we move, I did want to mention I saw a video, I think by the channel Polygon, where they were talking about, for example, one character in Toy Story, the original one, had as many like movable parts in their body. So the bones, or I can't remember what they call it, but basically something you can
Rigging.
change. Yeah, in their body as some of the characters do now, just in like their face. Or for example, like the latest one to come out, Soul. Like, because it's this guy who plays piano, like he had like as many movable points in his fingers as he did, as like Woody had in his entire body. And like they'll have like the muscles in your hand that that show up when you're moving your fingers in certain ways. Like, wow, that's time, man. That's time and dedication to getting something looking so good.
The thing with that as well is they had the limited amount of stuff, but they made it look good. They worked with what they had, right?
And a lot of it, again, it's not necessarily the graphical fidelity, it's having that vision of creating something that's worth creating.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because
Okay,
like
so-
a lot of the Disney movies around that time, they were gorgeous, like gorgeous hand-drawn masterpieces, but the vision wasn't there. There was just a bunch of paint by numbers structure that they needed to go by.
Like the storyline, you mean?
Yeah, like God, what was the before they actually got interesting, it was like what's the name of it?
Oh,
Hunchback of Notre Dame and Pocahontas and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like they could be really fascinating, interesting stories, and they are, because they're like our childhood bedtime stories. So it should be a slam dunk, but it's like it's so disinteresting because of all the points they needed to hit, and like anytime something happens, the song needs to break out for 5 minutes.
I can definitely say I stopped being like that kind of Disney movie age around The Lion King. So I always feel like, maybe I just don't have the same feeling for those movies because, I didn't, they weren't part of my childhood the same way that Beauty and the Beast and The Littlest Mermaid. What's the name of that movie?
The Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid.
The Littlest Mermaid.
The Littlest Mermaid. Yeah. So I love those movies because I grew up with them. Anyway, so that's how I
But yeah, at that point they had more of they had a flow to them, and like the songs and stuff didn't feel out of place. It felt like it was part of that character's development kind of thing. Like in Aladdin, that came out right when I was in prime Disney, and every time a song comes out, it's part of the story. It doesn't make the story stop so that you can watch the song. It's part of that character's development. It's telling you about the main character and what he does, or it's like about the villain, or like it's part of the process, and it means something at that point. And then
another
the later
thing that
ones
we're
just
missing
didn't
out
have
on is just straight villains.
How do you mean?
Yeah,
Like
villains for the sake
Ursula.
of villainy.
Like, she was evil. Like Jafar, he was evil. Scar was a bad guy. Like, and now they're starting to be like, well, let's do a Scar movie to show that he's actually really a likable feller. And you're like, no. It's like Cruella de Vil. She wanted to make a coat out of puppies.
She wasn't all that bad, honest.
And they made a movie where she's the victim, and you're like, no, she wanted to make a coat out of puppies. She's bad, okay?
Yeah.
That's like as bad as you can get.
Some puppies killed my parents.
Yeah. That's weird that movie didn't do well. I wonder why. Because he's gonna make a coat out of puppies. Like,
say what you want about Frozen, but at least the villain in that was solidly a villain. He was a greedy person who was willing to do anything to get power. Like that was the villain in that movie, and it was definitely a mark for it. That like there's just no saving grace for the villain in that story. He was just someone you can
power for power's sake. But also he wasn't the main antagonist though. That's the thing, right?
Could you imagine?
He was in the beginning, and then he was kind of at the end, and the rest was like, oh, struggle with sister, and you're like,
yeah.
Could you imagine Hansel and Gretel?
Sister went evil and then made like a puppy coat or something, really, really hate her. Like, you don't come back from the puppy coat.
You can't forgive someone who wants to hurt puppies. Hansel and Gretel,
puppies,
right?
you monster. Yeah.
The witch from Hansel and Gretel, get this, a retribution story for an old witch who wants to eat children. Some children killed my parents, so I built a candy house so I could eat them.
Those damn kids won't stay off my lawn.
I'm not allowed to use a shotgun anymore. Yeah, Jam, you've been quiet on this topic. You had kids.
You had a childhood, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys were so passionate about the quality of Disney movies lately.
Oh, 100%.
I'm just taking this
We've all been
in.
stuck inside for 18 months. We're very passionate about Disney. We all have Disney Plus subscriptions now too.
I do have an animation degree, so.
That's true. I forget that about you. But anyways, Jam, you've been quiet for the last moment. I want to bring you back into the conversation here. I mean, did you have something to comment about that, like from your point of view?
Yeah. Well, I guess I've stayed away from most Disney things just because,
Not enough blood.
It kind of seems like, well, no, the forced narratives kind of thing kind of detract from the story, like the point that Jer was making, it's like things could have been better, but it's like, no, we've got to push this agenda through or got to make this point, and sometimes it just really pulls me out of enjoying what I'm watching.
How many movies just wouldn't be a movie unless people were reasonable and spoke with each other?
All of them.
Actually, that being said, I have to say Ted, if you guys remember that movie from 5 or 10 years back. I can't remember how long. It's 5 years. The two main characters, forgive me, I don't remember names or anything about them, but the two main characters were kind of having like a say again.
One of the characters' name I think is Ted. So.
Ted. Okay, yeah. There's Ted. There's the teddy bear, and then there's the two adults. One of them's like played by Mark Wahlberg, and then the other one's played by I forget her name, but she was in that '70s show. They have a little bit of tension in their what's that?
Mila Jovovich. No.
Oh yes, Mila Jovovich.
Mila
That's
Kunis.
it.
Mila Kunis.
Or Kunis.
Mila
Okay.
Kunis.
Jovovich is in all the cheesy movies that I love. By the way,
It's in the Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Anyways, they had a
Monster
little
Hunter,
bit
great.
of they had a little bit of tension in their relationship, and this guy from Mila's work tries to swoop in on that, and then when she realizes that he's trying to get fresh, he's all like, "We're having a fight. Like, get off me. You're not it's not because we're split up." When other movies be like, "But I don't know. This guy is he's so rich and he's so popular and he's so nice. I'm gonna question my relationship and not talk about it with my significant other." So it's nice that movie, even though it's completely foul in so much of its story, was actually had people I could relate to.
Actually had real human interaction. That's weird.
Exactly.
Well, that's good at least, because I only watched about half of Ted before I stopped it.
You know, like the teddy bear gets struck
There
by
was
lightning?
about a point about halfway through the movie where it's like, I think a hooker took a dump in the corner, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna stop. This obviously isn't getting better.
Where you draw the line, hey, it's the hookers in the corner. Yeah.
But Flash Gordon was in it. Flash.
Oh my gosh, yes! Oh, that entire bit, that party scene was horrible. It was like promoting drug use. But, you can look beyond it. Okay, so other than what we're playing on the stream right now, I want to find out, because I see it, I got you guys on Steam. What are you playing when you're not with the Nerd Crew? Jam, why don't you start this time?
I have been living the high life in GTA 5 right now.
You're back on GTA.
Yeah, went and got myself the Kosatka submarine, which unlocked a new heist, which you can do solo, by the way. And so you can make a ton of money, and you can finally afford all of those cool fancy cars you wanted, all the helicopters and planes and stuff like that. So yeah, instead of having to grind for like 2 or 3 days with 4 people at the same time just to get like 20 grand at the end of the day, you can, within a matter of a couple hours, you can be making millions.
Making mad bank.
Yeah, it's really, they've really stepped it up with the single player aspect of the game. So I've been playing a lot of that and tuning up cars,
Oh yeah, they got that new tuner, right?
Yeah, tuner DLC. That's been a lot of fun.
I've been seeing a lot of GIFs of people trying to drive into the tuner shop, and then it just glitching out completely, and they fast drive into the door before it's open, and their car flips over, or they're driving around in circles because it's all automatic, right? That it's sort of that cut scene to transfer you from one position to another, or like somebody somehow driving in while they're parked in there and smashing up their vehicle while there's nothing they can do about it. Like random stuff like that. I sometimes I look at those and go like, oh man, GTA looks like it would be worth getting back into again.
But then you realize it's 400 gigabytes to download.
Like, I ain't gonna be done in 3 days on my internet.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, not even that, but just the average loading times of the game have not very much improved at all. Just trying to join your friend's instance. Yeah. Go have a cup of tea or something.
Yeah.
Didn't they fix that?
They said
GTA.
They said they improved it, but yeah. I guess
Improvement can be
one of
like
those.
0.5 seconds off. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put up a picture right now, which is a picture that that Jeremy sent on on the private nerd chat that made me cry. You guys all know what that picture was. You saw it. And then I'm going to move that picture
before we
to the
started
side.
this thing.
It was like a yesterday or something. I'm going to move that picture to the side, and then I'm going to put up a picture of my own. It's just so you guys can compare the two of that, and I know you guys have all seen that before, so there's no surprises.
I also thank you for making sure that my IP address isn't at the bottom of that.
Oh yeah, no, I'll block that out. I'll block that out.
Because
Not a problem.
This is a little bit of a reminder to editor Steve to don't out me like that. But yeah, Steve's data mainly shows up by Packmule. He puts in the request and then it shows up. All the megabytes show up on a Packmule in like 3 days.
Have a little Sherpa who takes them out and loads them one at a time by hand into my computer.
It's that Borax 100 mule train.
Golly, yeah.
Actually, here coming. Steve's data pack.
I think that's a good opportunity for us to. No. We're gonna move on. We're sticking on a topic right now. We're not gonna transient too far because Jer, what are you playing off stream?
Honestly, mostly Apex Legends, because Apex and Breath of the Wild again.
Back on Breath of the Wild again? Wow.
Yeah, it's been like, this is like their 6th time going through it.
Wow, must be a good game.
So talk
like
about
it.
Apex though. Where are you at with that? What's happening? Because I haven't been paying attention at all.
It's something that I genuinely enjoy in terms of like it handles extremely well, and all the physics are kind of feel what they're supposed to be like. All the weapons like work properly, and everything has a trade-off. Nothing's perfect, and it makes it incredibly difficult to be good at. But at the same point, it's all the difficulty is with your own skill, not just working with the game's weirdness, like so many have.
Do you ever feel like you're just kind of chasing, chasing the period of time just before you die by somebody who's better than you? I mean, does it ever kind of feel like futile?
Honestly, only when I'm like too tired to be playing. And I still try and play, but most of the time it's like it's challenging, but it's doable.
David, you were talking about Mad Max earlier, and obviously you flashed up your box. You're playing it on Xbox right now, I guess.
Yeah.
How come you're? I mean, is just because you own it on Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't own it for PC, so.
Yeah. I heard you could cross play games.
Certain ones.
Okay. I guess. Go for it.
What is it? State of Decay 2. You can cross-play that. That's a fun one. I'm playing that.
Okay.
So zombies. I like zombie games. This one's less about the
is
zombies
that
and more
on
about
Game
community.
Pass?
Yeah. So if you, it's the same world too. So if I play on my computer, it's the exact same world as my Xbox, which is kind of cool.
That's always really nice.
Yeah, a lot of times they won't do that. They'll be like, "No, we don't want to."
Well, exactly. I mean, sometimes I guess it's just companies trying to force you to buy 2 copies of the same game in case you wanted to play it that way.
Yeah, it's just petty greed at that point, and it's never like, well, I'm just gonna have to buy that again. It's like, oh, okay, and it kind of turns you off of it for a bit.
Little bit, yeah.
Well,
I don't like spending money on stuff I don't need to. Yeah.
Don't look at my computer then.
I got the standard edition. I got the limited edition. I got the Game of the Year edition. I got the limited edition.
The
That's just for people
PS4
to-
Release of the standard
PS5 edition.
That's just
I got
people
the one with the
put it
cover.
up on their shelf. They put it up on
Do
their
you do
shelf
that?
so that when somebody comes over and they go, "Oh, hey, look at that! You got the such and such game on a limited edition. Wow, it came with the oh gosh, oh my gosh, oh the camera
Gonna
edition,
show you.
oh the camera."
What? Are you sick? I was trying to show you my collection of how I store it, and it's
Yeah.
not pretty.
You just shove it underneath your desk. I mean,
Pretty
I
much.
just have a few touches like this. It's all my real money goes into RGB for my computer, and I tell you, I pay for millions of colors. I'm gonna use millions of colors. My computer is flashing all the colors right now. It is just rainbow everything, and I love it.
No
That's
wonder
what
your
happens
daughter
when you're
wants to
raised on
have it.
Star
It
Trek.
Looks like an LSD trip.
Yeah, exactly. What was that? What you're saying, Jer?
I said that's what happens when you're raised on Star Trek. Yes, all these panels are randomly flashing lights. Yes, it looks
Yeah.
cool.
Maybe I know this is just disgusting when we do this on green screen, but I'm just gonna point. Yep, there it goes. Whoa, whoa, and you can see on the back panel.
See, that's like baby magnet right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, absolutely. Okay, let's get this back in. There we go. It is, and in fact, there's a controller, there's a little remote where I hand it to Hazel, and she can flip the colors using the remote, and she absolutely loves that. Loves
Nice.
that. Yeah, exactly.
That's about her video game speed at this point.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
I do
here's
love
a-
the RGB, but when I was afraid that I would just be, because I didn't know too much about computers, I was afraid that I was just going to be buying things just because they were RGB and they actually
Yes.
be not very good, actually.
Oh,
So if I showed you my
that's-
computer, it would just be a black box.
Yeah, mine's also a
That's-
black box. I like the sleeper units.
that's still a style.
Yeah.
Going for
That's
like
right.
I see those pictures all the time of people who go for like, you know, instead of going for RGB, they're just going for like a pure single color or pure black, and it can look so good. Like RGB is a choice. Like, you know, people who always go for chocolate ice cream. It's not that you don't enjoy the other colors. It's just that, you know, when you're faced with 32 flavors, you're going to go for the one you know is going to make you the happiest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or millions of colors.
Tiger.
Is that yours?
Yeah, when I was growing up, yeah, that was the one. Whenever there was that ice cream shop that had 1,001 flavors, it was always, I'll take the Tiger.
Well, yeah,
Isn't
'cause
that
it's
licorice
two
and
different
caramel?
colors? orange.
Licorice and
butterscotch.
orange.
Oh.
I think it's orange
butterscotch,
sherbet.
wasn't
Yeah.
it? Something. Yeah.
It is a tasty combination, but it's really not for everyone because licorice is really not for everyone. I think everyone's pretty cool on orange though.
Everyone's
not a
pretty
big
cool
fan of
on
licorice.
licorice.
I used to like that flavor a lot when I was younger too because I was one of those weird kids that liked black licorice.
Yeah. Maybe I like, yeah, you know, it was always available, which was nice. You know, it wasn't so popular they would sell out.
There's that advantage as well, definitely. They always have your flavor.
Okay, I want us all to take a moment, open up Steam, make sure you've got all the games that you've purchased on view, and just take a moment here and scan through and find one game that you have paid for, not played, and absolutely regret it. So like, I'm totally gonna get to that game, I just haven't yet because I'm gonna play Breath of the Wild for the 6th time. So take a moment. I'm gonna try and do a bit of a quick scan myself because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna find a couple of those right away. Oh gosh, actually I've played a lot more of these than I'm willing
Yeah,
to
free
admit.
ones don't count.
Yeah, free ones. Yeah, I mean, if you
need
find
to
a free one.
pay money for it.
Oh man, can't drive this. Apparently they did an update for that one, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. I paid for
Fantastic.
that one. I played it. Oh gosh, actually this is harder than I thought.
Yeah, I played.
Yeah, I'm just looking through this, and I've been a pretty good consumer.
Those of us who grew up without having like a billion games, you had to go down. I miss walking into EB Games and being like, I'm going to buy a game today, and then you do all your browsing and like, oh, I'm going to look at the things that I'm obviously not going to buy, and like, okay, yes, I will select my game, and you go home and you open up the packaging and you pop it in, and it's like, this is what I'm going to be doing for the next 6 hours, and now it's like, oh, I'm going to get that downloading, and then you leave for work and you come back and you're looking at it like, oh, I'm
And you
gonna get
realize
to
you didn't
that.
click OK, and it's like,
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Actually, yeah, we've just got a lot of games that we've done for the that we've
either
done
for the
channel.
stream or like genuinely played.
Ooh,
Alien Isolation.
I'm running
that
into.
one.
Alien Isolation. Have you not played that one?
No, I've been
Oh.
planning on it. I want to watch Jam play it.
I've
Ooh.
got one here.
So do we get a heart rate monitor at the same
Yeah.
time? For the...
Well, we'll start you off
Yes.
nice and slow. We'll give you Soma. It's a good one.
Oh, that is a
And then
really
we'll-
good one.
We'll upgrade into
Soma to
Alien
set the mood.
Isolation,
Jerry, you
and
said
then
you had one?
Amnesia.
Yeah. Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Oh, you got me
I
to
played-
play that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I played the original Life is Strange, and I really liked it. It's obviously not for everyone, but it's a very well done piece of storytelling. Game is a little bit of the wrong word. I feel like it's more of just like an interactive movie.
It's an interactive puzzle.
Yeah, and
I absolutely get
but it's extremely heavy, and it deals with like extremely heavy topics, and I still really liked it. And then Life is Strange Before the Storm I got because it's the same kind of, it's the same story and the same people. It just takes place before the first one, and it's like I don't want to, because it's just it's too heavy for me. It's so
You've got to set aside like a piece of your soul to be consumed by the story.
yeah,
That's the lie.
essentially, yeah. I'm a bit of a soft person, so with that really heavy stuff, it takes a toll on me. It really does.
Okay, I've found one here that I've really regretted not playing, and it's called The Long Journey Home. Have you guys heard of this one yet?
It sounds familiar. I think I heard of that at one point.
It's been around for quite some time. I mean, and that's kind of the point of this, is that I saw Scott Manley play it, and it looked so good. And it's kind of like a top down in the sense of say I want to say Rebel Galaxy. Is that the name of the game? Yeah, Rebel. It's kind of like Rebel Galaxy in the sense that like you've kind of got a story to follow, and you're moving through these different systems, and it's very top down. You're controlling the ship that way. But yeah, absolutely, it's one of those beautiful games where I always have something better to do and something better to play than that for whatever reason. But everything about it, save for like, you know, Jam, you love building games. I love building games. Everything about it is exactly what I kind of want from a game, where it's got space, it's got exploration, it's got, you know, problems you're going to run into, beautiful, you know, graphics that are obviously obsessed with space, and I want that, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
That was a good one.
All right, what else have you guys found?
Stuff. Oh, for me.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was, what's the one? Yeah, it was like Alien Isolation. There's
Yeah.
I've pretty much touched everything I've bought other than Alien Isolation, because I like download it and then I'll play it and I'll be like, oh, I actually don't like this.
So how come? Oh, okay. So how come you bought it then?
Because it's on sale.
Is that the only reason?
Yeah, if it's $10 and under, I'll probably pick it up.
Oh my gosh, I can't blame you.
Uh-huh.
I can't blame you. Actually, there's one that's been going on sale, and oh my gosh, I need to bring up my wish list for this, because
yeah,
David,
that's-
you recommended it to me.
Oh, did I?
Where is it here? Breath Edge.
Breath Edge.
Breath Edge,
That-
yeah.
Yeah, Breath Edge. It's the same sort of idea as, you know, Breath Edge, survive in outer space, where something you know, ship broken, first person moving around, building it back up again until you can move on to the next bit, you know, kind of thing. You have a goal. There's a space chicken, and it keeps on dropping down to like $20-$25, and I'm just like, I can't pull the trigger on that. I just can't get
Well,
myself to do it.
We
That
share
game
info,
is-
right? Oh, we share libraries.
Well, yeah, I unfortunately know it does this. I've got Jer's login. I don't have yours. In fact,
Oh,
we should
I thought you had
probably all share our secret login information so that we can constantly update that as we go. So yeah.
Something that, speaking of sales, something that is on Epic sale right now is Far Cry 5. If you guys want the pew pew kind of assault and prepper kind of thing, where it's like it's kind of survival, but not really. It's mainly just shooting things with guns.
Yeah, I think
is-
it'd be another one of those games where it's like I'm like, yeah, I'll play it eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you went through Far Cry 3, didn't you?
No, I went through Far Cry Primal. It's the only Far Cry I've actually played.
Oh, right, yeah.
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 good.
I remember you went through one, but I couldn't remember which one. It's like their gameplay style is good. It's enjoyable, but at the same point it can feel a bit hollow and by the numbers.
Well, it's also the same thing. It's like open world, so you kind of get lost, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna take a break, and then you never come back to it.
But at the same point, it's a gorgeous looking game, and they are fun, and it's $12 currently. So
I bought them all. I have them all.
Jam, have you found one? I know you don't have a gigantic library, which of course we should fix, so give you
Yeah,
access
geez.
to our games. What
Earn
do
some
you,
money, would ya?
do you have anything?
Gosh, I don't think I've spent enough time in Space Engineers,
yeah, it's
I just clicked
Space
on that just to
Engineers.
see 1,600 hours spent in that game.
106.7 for me.
I've got to take a look because that's another game that I've spent a lot of time in here. Let's see here. PST. Where is it here? Space Engineers. You'd expect that I'd actually have it installed, but I don't think I have it installed anymore. Space Engineers.
Well,
Oh, I do. 664 hours. That's it.
But you
And that,
really, how many? You could just look it up. Like I'm like, oh my god, Jam, that is crazy.
What? How many hours I have in it?
Yeah.
I
What do you
have
believe?
like 650 hours in Apex.
Wow.
Like I've played a fair amount of that.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks
well,
to the-
Your hours are.
power up the Switch. Tell us how much you have in.
I'd rather not talk
Wow.
about that.
Yeah.
But I do
Jam?
remember when I stopped playing, what's it called? World of Warcraft. I was at 130 days for that.
okay,
That's
I've got to do the
record so
math
far.
on that.
And now it's
130
garbage.
days.
So Jam, I'm only 400 hours behind you.
Only. Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That is okay. That is 3,120 hours to put in perspective there, Jer.
Yeah, that was most of my 20s. That's like for a lot of my 20s, what I did is like I didn't have cable. I came home and I played Warcraft. Like
Well, what else do you do with your time?
World of Warcraft, because it had a massive world with lots of stuff to do in it, and it was enjoyable. It had a good gameplay loop of wander around, do things, achieve the thing, get the reward or whatever, and you move on. And if you get tired of this area, you can take a griffin and go fly somewhere else and do quests over there for a while and stuff like that. So it was enjoyable enough, especially in the 20-aughts.
I guess also
Like-
considering what was available at the time, like I really struggled back then to find games I did want to play. And, even having like arguments that's like, I want a game that has this and this and this and this, and friends being like, there is no game like that. And now actually like it's hard to choose what you're
Yeah.
playing because
There's so many games that are, I've got 670 hours in Elite.
There you go.
Yeah. Actually, I wonder, can we look up our own, like, how many hours you've spent, like, the most hours you spent in any game? Let's see here. All recently played. I mean, all games. Here we go. And then sort by playtime. That's where it is. Okay, Elite Dangerous, 900 hours on record. And
I'm 1.254.
hours
Yeah.
on Elite Dangerous?
Yeah.
Wait, what? You spent
Well,
less than 2
1,000
hours?
1,000.
Keep in mind
I
if
said
you-
that wrong. 1,000 hours, 200.
Sorry, Jared?
If you leave the loader up, it still counts as playtime.
Yeah, that's a lot of me.
So if you log off and go to bed or go to work, stuff like that, there's a bunch
I've
more
walked away from
time.
it for 3 days, and I've been like, I wiggle my computer, and it's like, oh, I'm in the menu.
Yeah.
I've definitely being a dad, I've definitely like been playing a game and then been like, oh, gotta go do dad things, and I just pause it and I walk away and come back 5 hours later like, okay, gotta shut it down. That was fun.
It was running. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, I've got 801 hours on Kerbal Space Program, and then of course the next one is Space Engineers at 664. So okay, Jerry, JM, you've brought up a great topic for us here. Okay, guys, hit up your top play times and let's find out what you've got.
How do you get
Top
to that
3.
one? What's that view?
So you want to go under your name, go to profile, and then where is it here? I think on the right side it'll say like games. You can click on that, and then it'll be all games sort by playtime. If that helps at all.
7 Days to Die is my second game, most played, 700 hours.
There you go. Yeah. Those are decent numbers for games, especially considering that JM, you've only really been up in the games for like the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, well, that's what I was looking at when I was looking at my list of games that I haven't really played too much, and I'm noticing that a lot of these are, and the ones that I regret playing, like not playing more, is because I was trying to play them on a 10-year-old laptop, and it just couldn't do it.
I'm so glad I'm so glad you're part of the PC master race again.
The tick
Great.
bubble.
Feels good.
Really dangerous.
Yeah, feels really good.
Be out of the. Ugh.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys,
I wish I played more. Sorry, Steve. I think the game that I regret not playing enough is Generation Zero, because I think it had a really cool thing where, you know, you had to actively pursue the enemies on the map, otherwise they would get stronger, right? Like, and they'd if you didn't take them out, they would figure out ways to take you out, kind of thing. And I maybe I'll go back to that and see what the updates are like, because there have been a couple of new updates, but I think I could spend a lot more time in that.
What is it? When me and Jam were gonna play on a different account, and we spawned in and there was no weapons,
Yeah.
and it like completely changed the game. Yeah, so we'd like be hiding in the woods as these like dogs are looking for us, and we couldn't fight them at all. Like there was no weapons around until we got to like the first safe house. So it was us like using binoculars up on a hill, watching, being like, "Dang, there's a dog down there."
I remember, David, you remember that time it was just you and me streaming, and we decided to play Generation Zero with picking up no weapons. And when we did that, I gotta say it was probably one of the favorite times I've played a game, like period, because of that kind of like that prey mentality. There's so many games where it's about, you know, just picking up the biggest gun and hunting down your enemies until one takes you out. And how about you know, I grew up loving Splinter Cell, for example. You can play those games, or Deus Ex. You can play those games where you're practically doing like all stealth, and I would just love that. So you and I are like doing the same thing, like oh no, there's something coming, or we're literally bolting across a field while we've got robots running behind us, like get away to the safe house.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Like if they took all the guns away, and you just get like distraction devices, and you still have to do the game, that'd be wicked.
Absolutely. That would be.
Or if you could call, like, hey, and so they'd all come towards that one guy, and you'd have to try and get away.
I absolutely agree, though, JM. I would love to get back into that game. We, I guess, we stopped playing. What were we playing other than Generation Zero? What happened? Something got more popular, which is the problem. We were streaming a couple different things.
I think one of the big things was when I needed to take a break for a while.
Right. Yes.
And it's like, God, we can't do this without the fourth guy.
Yeah.
We should do something else for a while.
Yeah, because if you're playing all together and one person picks up the shotgun, they have the shotgun. Like,
Yeah.
you can't go and just go to the spawn again and pick up the gun. It's in their inventory.
We did eventually figure out that like if the host picks up the weapon first, then everybody else got to pick it up. But there was definitely a few times at the beginning where like I wasn't getting any weapons because I was trailing behind, and you guys were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
a gun," and picking him up, and I'd be like, "Where's the gun gone?" And you guys be like, "We all three got it. So what's your problem?"
Yeah, that's
I kind of
really
like that
entertaining.
though. I like
That
the
was hilarious.
scarcity.
Yeah.
Like
And that's exactly
it adds
it.
a whole new element to it, right?
Well, like DayZ. DayZ was fantastic because of scarcity, but it and also having to stealth around everywhere. But also at the same time, we were griefed by cheaters. We were killed by people who, you know, what do you call them, Dave? Do you call them like, you know, tryhards or no lifers or something like that?
Sweaty boys.
Where all they
Sweaty
do
boys.
is play that game and they build up their stuff and they're just sitting there waiting for someone to come along to die, and that's it.
Yeah.
And we got bored of that. But at the same
They're like
time,
end
that's
of
also what
lifers.
built it up. Oh, what's that?
End of lifers.
End of
They
life.
got nothing going for them. Just that one game.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Actually, that is a great question, though, JM. Any other games that we regret not playing more of that we've actually played?
I want to play more GTFO more. I want to play that all the time.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so weirdly addictive, isn't it? Because it really holds that sense of achievement away from you and makes you want it so badly. So when you finally succeed, it's like, oh yes, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
And it's just that being raised on like Nintendo hard kind of games, like you
I
need
love
to
Sorry.
work at it.
I love the forced collaboration. I love it when things are going well, and even if we're a little bit more scrambled, like we're all just kind of focused on the task and we're not communicating, there'd be the times where, like, you know, maybe JM and David would go off and they'd be taking care of a couple people over here, and Jer and I are taking care of a couple people, like, oh, there's 5 people over here, can we get everyone together? And I just absolutely love that aspect of it. I regret, and I wish I was doing it intentionally, I regret how dumb I am during that game, though, because I'm like, oh, there's a button, I'm gonna push the button, guys, and you're like, what the hell are you doing? You've ruined it. And I'm like, I have ruined it, I'm sorry, everyone.
Or like we're all hiding and then Steve runs in with his light on. It's like, hey guys, what's going on? Ah, monsters.
Nah.
Who
had, like, we get to
it was me.
The very
It
end,
was me,
and we're
okay.
like, don't pick it up because it'll start something. And Steve goes, ooh. Look, guys, and you're like, you.
Well, usually what it is I'm walking around, I'm looking at stuff, and I go, oh, hey, look at that. And then, you know, David will be like, hey, by the way, don't pick that. I'm like, I'm too late. Oh no.
That looks
Why
like it might
didn't
be
somebody
important.
warn me? I do that in games, like in Dead Space, for example. I don't look at anything I'm picking up. I don't go, ooh, credits. Ooh, ammo for this gun. Ooh, no, I'm just like, pick. Move on.
Grab anything that isn't tied down.
You hoarder.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Steve, you're also the main camera, right? So,
Yeah.
like, you can't just be creeping around looking at a
Yeah.
wall all day, you know?
Exactly.
I wonder what that game would be like if you could have, like, a camera account of some form, you know? To be able to watch all 4 of us go through.
To
Like
float
a
around like they do.
controller.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool. One guy with a map and you just wandering around in a fog.
I'm sure there's games like that, but they're usually like the what do you call it? You know, like the Slender Man games. But you're right. I am trying to keep things interesting and keep things moving, but at the same time, I especially lately, like when we've been doing Sea of Thieves, I've been trying to watch you guys experience the game as much as doing it myself, because it's, for the stream, a lot more interesting to have you guys in front of me. It's difficult though, and it's not something that I would say I'm good at yet, simply because it's really hard not to just go and have fun and play the game, and instead to sort of stand back and wait for you guys to do the thing. I know a lot in the past what we've done is allow me to do the interesting things, but at the same time there's still values in seeing that interaction through you guys instead.
That was beautiful.
Anyways, game I wanted to bring up was that I wanted to play more of was Scrap Mechanic. I miss Scrap Mechanic.
That's one that I've never gotten into, but I think I could.
Yeah, I think it'd be your jam because you actually build like it's like Lego Technics.
Yeah.
There's
was real
freedom of
glitchy,
building.
though.
What's the, oh
Yeah,
yes,
Yeah, it
There's
was like,
freedom of building, but there's also like machine complexity.
yeah.
yeah. You can.
It's not
you
just
can,
like you just attach 4 wheels to a battery and a cockpit and you're off. Like Space Engineers, you need to like add axles and motors and
yeah.
Yeah, that's something I found really restrictive of Space Engineers because I always wanted to make my own like suspension systems and stuff like that because you're so pigeonholed by the type of things, the blocks they give you.
the
But
ultra
then-
simple design.
Yeah, yeah.
You can definitely, and you have to plan how your build is in the sense that if you have a very back heavy vehicle, it's going to flip over. I definitely have built vehicles that are heavy on suspension, and then you can do glitches that make like parts connect to parts while also being connected to other parts, if that makes any sense. Like it doesn't have to be a tree of this thing's attached to this thing attached to this thing. So when you do glitch something to connect to 2 different places, you can have something like a free floating axle as well as suspension, and that's amazing. I did a free floating axle which worked all right until I went over something too tall, and then the entire vehicle would just flip over. But you can tweak and play with things. The only problem I would say that comes up with Scrap Mechanic is that your end game, your goal is so it just kind of ends, right? Or it doesn't even end. It just like your long-term goal is let's build stuff, and then you can also potentially make or buy things that will get you to going to harder places, but what really is the point, you know?
The cake is a lie. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I feel like that was a
There's
really
not-
convoluted way of putting it, but
Yeah, there's not much motivation to progress, I would say,
yeah,
is what you're
that's
saying.
exactly it. That's exactly it. There's not
Yeah.
much motivation to progress. Like, yes, I can go to the harder place, which is like a factory, and you can go through the factory and get a whole bunch of stuff that you could also get outside the factory, but just not as quickly or something. I mean, I never got that far, but the fun part is like, I'm going to build up my base, and I'm going to build these vehicles that let me cut down trees better or grind up rocks better, so I can unlock things that make it easier for me to do more of that, which I guess in itself is kind of like Space Engineers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, clearly I can spend a lot of time in a game that has no actual story or progression or end game. You know, I just
really-
love being able to express myself in these games, and the more freedom they give me in my building ability, the happier I am. Really.
I guess the cool part, the reason why I fell in love with Scrap Mechanic was watching Neebs Gaming play it, and they would give each other challenges and have to build around those challenges. I thought that was absolutely, like, that was one of my favorite series. Yeah, like watching them do the like get your vehicle from here to there through this obstacle course.
I think I was just
Yeah.
watching the other night.
That's how they
They
got
did a
Data
spy
Hop.
challenge or something. Yeah.
They did like a movie.
I think I remember that one. Isn't that one where Neebs built like a limousine?
Yeah, and
the
everything
side
was like
open.
rigged to blow up.
Yeah. Well, the side of the limousine opened up and a storefront drops down, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you can't tell that it's actually a spy car because there's just a store there, you know, right? It's like, oh, just a store, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, security's moved on. You know, put the storefront back in and keep driving. Hilarious.
Well, they also had Nessie too. Nessie was in that,
Oh yeah.
and Nessie was like one of my favorite videos.
You want some sweet tea?
Yeah.
And they end
was
up
great.
like blowing it up, but only getting half its neck, and it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Slow death.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, there's the character vehicles, the witch, just the witch
Yeah.
head. Yeah.
Just walking around. No one was impressed with that though. Everyone was like, "Boo!"
Oh, it was
Yeah.
good. It was good. All right, guys, we've been going for about an hour 17 now, hour 17-ish, which I think was a pretty good time. I mean, it's like we don't have to cut it off right away, but is there anything else you guys wanted to kind of chat about before we went?
Forgot to mention Stalker 2 is coming out.
Stalker 2. I know
Have you ever
nothing
played
about
Stalker 1?
No, can you
Stalker,
tell us about it?
Amazing. Stalker is I think it takes place in the 90s, and Chernobyl. You know Chernobyl? That little incident? Well, it's like something happened, and all of a sudden all these anomalies started going, and all these people with criminal records ran to Chernobyl because there's like no authority there. So it's like a bunch of scavengers, they're called stalkers, that go around and collecting all this stuff and selling it on the black market. And there's like bandits, and there's like different factions, and you're just kind of, there's mutants in there, there's like blood-sucking mutants, and there's like zombies, and you're just kind of walking through actual Chernobyl trying to figure out what the hell happened. And it's good. And they have an expansion called Pripyat, and that's the town that's right next to Chernobyl with the big Ferris wheel. So you're like walking through all these like iconic locations, but there's like weird mutant dogs, and there's like weird monsters, and you're trying to find and sell this stuff and survive.
That does sound good. I mean, the Stalker series, that's pretty old as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys...
Like back in the Fear times.
Yeah, the original I think is on the PS3, isn't it?
I think so. But it's on Steam, I think. Let's see if it's here. Let's see, Stalker.
Yeah, while he's doing that, I just wanted to say, go back to something that I was talking about before the stream, I think. But Arc isn't 120, it's 200 gigabytes.
There's a lot of dinosaurs, man.
It's a fifth of my hard drive.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh, yeah. That's why you don't put games on your what do you call it? Your boot drive, essentially.
It's all I got, man.
Well, I don't know. You spend like $150, you can get yourself a terabyte solid state. Toss that in there, good to go. That's what I've done. I've got a solid state for recording, a solid state for games, and of course I got my boot drive, and then my external hard drives for other video stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Stalker, like the whole bundle with the 2 expansions, is $45 still, and it came out in 2007.
Yeah, that's early PlayStation 3, isn't it?
Yeah, and people still play it today, like, because it was like amazing. It was good. Okay. And now a second one's coming out. Hopefully they don't ruin it, because that's what got me into like the whole Russian aftermath thing, and that's why I love Metro as well, because it's the same thing. It's like a harsh Russian environment, right? Old Soviet stuff.
Really easy to render buildings, basically.
Yeah.
What a fantastic location.
Gritty. Yeah, this looks like Half-Life 2 graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is hard. It's hard to play stuff like that now.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They probably have mods for it.
I think a game I'm really wishing we'd do more of, or want to get back into, was the one we played most recently, which is Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because I just have such a fun time playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that I'd say that we aren't actually actively playing at this point that hasn't been said already may be Elite Dangerous, because that's so much more fun with people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But of course we all know
they
why
have more to do for the, like, can you land on a planet and all get out and walk around and drive around?
Maybe we should try it again.
That's what I'd like, is
we could give it a go.
Like a ship that can hold 4 rovers and 4 fighters, so that if something does happen, you know, like me, like all 4 of us can get out and rove around. And then all 4 of us are 3 fighters or whatever, right?
Yeah.
There has been several updates since we were looking at doing the tutorials.
Yeah, they could have handled that issue of connectivity.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, maybe it'd be worth for us just, finding a little bit of time. I'm definitely trying to dedicate more of my time to getting back into the channel again, because when those tutorials, as far as I'm concerned, completely fell apart, that's when I went right back into my I'm not editing anything hole.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, So let's give that a go. We've got some time. Maybe coming up next week. About this time next week would probably be better for me because I am trying to dedicate a little bit more time to doing this stuff. I've had a bit of a chat with Mouse. She's up and okay with it. Spending more time with Hazel. Golly, have we only been recording for an hour? Really? Hour and a half, I guess.
We have been chatting for like a half hour before that too, so it probably feels a little longer.
That's true because we were getting everything set up. Just like kind of like I thought we were gonna be an hour. It's almost for me. It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon when we started around 11. It was just like stream time, you know. I guess there was that period of time where Hazel was getting changed. Anyways, so yeah, let's find some time next week. Let's get back into that.
Yeah, have a peek at least. I mean, it'll take all of maybe a half an hour to an hour. So
yeah, and I need to get back into giving everyone direction so that we can start breathing more life into the channel. Which I mean, if we're gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it, gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna talk a little bit about how the channel's doing because I do like to talk to the viewers about how we are. We're at 2,494 subscribers right now.
Yay!
Awesome.
We're about to go to 2.5, which is it's not a huge goal to set, but we have made almost an extra 500 subscribers this year. It has really slowed down because of a lot of things, especially a lack of content on our part, Elite Dangerous being a huge draw to the channel, kind of falling apart with Odyssey. That was a bad move on their part and impacted us negatively. However, that being said, we have a video with over 100,000 views, and that's the mining ships video.
People love
it. Really cool. Yeah, absolutely. 101,119 views with 97.3% likes, which is really cool.
And that's gonna bump it up more and more too, right?
Oh,
more people watch it.
Get viewership, yeah.
Yeah.
Good comments on it too, is there not? Like
absolutely.
467 comments I see.
Yes, if I were to just pop into the most recent comments off of that, let's see here, ones I have responded to. Let's look at that. This is the absolutely best Elite Dangerous video I've ever seen. You made this game look sexy again. I don't know how much I didn't know how much I needed this. The amount of effort that went into this video is insane. I love it. Keep it up. What else we got here? Bring a shield. Anyways, yeah, there's been a lot of comments on that video, but it is nice. Those are the most recent ones to say, hey, great job, guys, which is nice. The only other video that we have of anywhere near that views is the New Level Nerds channel trailer of 61,000, and it's obviously it got a lot more views because we paid for them.
Paid for views?
Yeah, exactly, because people were watching it, as advertisement. And then, of course, past that is the surface, subsurface, and detonation mining with 37,000, almost 38,000.
Which people, it's still helping people get the hang of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I see the odd comment float through the video of somebody's like, "Hey, great, thanks. This helps."
Yeah.
And it's like, awesome. It's working for people still.
Yeah. And I would definitely like to get back into the tutorial ring, but yeah, I keep on sort of hitting this wall of I don't feel like it. I don't know where to start. I feel overwhelmed.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It needs to be a big group thing too, right?
Yeah. Well, here we are. We are
We all
a
need to be
big group.
available, and yeah.
And also, I respect your guys' time. That like, especially for JM and David, you guys, you work a real job.
Hey, Jared's got a real job. Come on.
That's true, but I do have a little bit more leeway than you guys do.
Yeah, but Jared doesn't work past like 5-6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, that's a personal thing. I could, but no.
Yeah,
but I don't want to.
Exactly. So for you guys especially, and I know how that feels, like waking up early and then the next day going to bed late is horrible, and it's hard to kind of I don't want to push you guys into, okay guys, we got deadlines and you have a job to do and this is your job. However, that being said, JM, the video that JM I think had some of the most impact on, where is it here? It was the Space Engineers tutorial that has, admittedly, so 313 views, but that's still a lot for a video of ours, and I'm really proud of that one.
It was a lot of fun to do that one.
Yeah, exactly. So perhaps let's have our Elite Dangerous thing. I'll try and swing around and start actually giving out tasks and jobs for everyone to start making videos again, which would be really nice. And we'll just see how it goes.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I like it.
So let's call it a day. I do want to take a second to thank the Patreons who are keeping us doing what it is that we do. Although we'd probably still do it regardless, but it's a lot more motivation. If you wanted to be a Patreon, yeah, it does help. If you wanted to be a Patreon, head over to patreon.com/New Level Nerds and sign up. Big thank you to Emperor Sesh, Tara Stevenson, Zachary Rosenberg, Tychus, Tim Cosplay, and Caleb Johnson, who are so far our forever Patreons. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it. All right, is that everything for us today, my dudes?
Yeah, I think so. It's good to get together and just chat again without all those pesky games getting in the way.
Yeah.
Man, I hate playing games. Yeah. I do enjoy it. And if you want to see more of it, you, the viewer, please comment down below. Like this video. Let us know that you like it. We will make more because it's probably one of the easiest videos for us to make. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Other than that, you've been watching The Nerds. My name is Steve.
I am Jeremy.
I am David.
And I'm JM.
And we will see you next time.